morning I was down at the beachfront path and I saw that there were preparations going on for a cremation, actually 4 of them. And I had a hot tip that it was going to start at 11:30 this morning, so I came down about 15 minutes early. And then it had already gone. Like, I got my timing all wrong. So we're just going to follow the cremation down here towards Pantai Karang and yeah, see what's going on. Basically, they've paraded from around the McDonald's area all the way down the main street here. It's about a 25 to 30 minute walk, probably longer than 30 minutes with the current speed of you know, the way they're going. And there's a couple of them in front of me with these big, well, they call them badai, I think they're called badai. They're the big method of carrying the body all the way from the starting point all the way down to the cremation area. And you can see there's a lot of people joining the parade all the way down to the beach at the moment. I've just parked the bike and I'll just chase the procession down the road just a little bit here to the beach. Yeah, so I guess the significance of this particular ngaben, which is basically the name of the ceremony involved in a cremation, the significance is that, for me, it's one of the bigger ones that I've seen. I don't often see, like, I've seen a few of them down here at the beach, and I've never seen one with 4 lined up, and I don't know why that's significant. I've tried to ask a few people, but it's very difficult to get really good information here in Bali about Balinese customs and traditions because it's so complicated. It's very, very complicated, and the average person like me and you, very hard to understand exactly what's going on. I do have a couple of clues about why this happens, but the real specific details on what the name of this and that is, very hard to know. So at the moment the gamelan's playing as there's a badai move into position around over here. There are some cremations already that have started. Because there's 4 of them, obviously it's a big process. You've got to start one and get another one going and that sort of stuff. So that's happening now. See one coffin over there being taken to the burning grounds, and then there's another one being lined up now. There's already one on fire in the background, so that's the process. It's actually a really, really big ceremony today. There's so many people down here compared to the last one I was at. Absolutely incredible how big it is. One of the things about these funerals is that the sadness that we feel in the West might be felt by people, but it's not publicly displayed with the wailing and so forth that we might have in the West. And I understand that it's because that you don't want to stop the soul from progressing into the next life. And the soul is everlasting in Hinduism. So the body is just a vessel to carry the soul to the next life. And what you want to do is get that soul onto the next life without too much fuss. And that's what part of the process is here. When you burn the body and then return all the ashes to the ocean, you're then releasing the soul so that it can go and have a new life in a new body later on. Over there at the moment in the distance behind the crowd, I won't film the specifics, but basically they're opening the coffin up, taking the body out and then putting it in between. They've basically got these big banana plants that they place the body in and then cover it with a piece of sheet metal, and then they have a almost like a jet engine which burns the body directly with a huge amount of gas. It's absolutely incredible. You can see the process a little bit more clearly there. parading the body around where it will be laid to rest in between those banana plants, and then the fire will be started. So at the moment, what's happening now, there is one underway and there's 3 more being prepared right at the moment in a row at the same time. And just behind there, there's all these offerings as well. There's so many tables set up for all the offerings all around here. I mean, this is literally next to the beachfront path, like it's literally on the path. So anyone walking past can come in and have a look around. It's certainly one of the most interesting cultural spectacles that you'll encounter in Bali. It's incredible. So I've just been told this is actually a wada, not a bade, which is, or bade. That's a larger, taller one. This is the standard one, a wada. Apparently, certainly in this area, that's what they're calling it. I'm always confused in Bali about customs and traditions and culture, really, because it's different from area to area, and I'm always confused about what it is in a particular area. I might have learnt one thing and think I'm an expert in it, and then you find out that you're wrong. So that's always the case here in Bali. As I was talking about earlier, you can see over there the banana trees there. They don't burn very well, and that's what they encase the cremation inside of, so that it doesn't just burn down the whole structure. It self-contains it, and then they put tin on top, I guess, to get a better burning process. That one is the first one that started. The second one's just got underway now, and then they're going to go down the line and start the other ones as well. One of the things I did a bit of research on before I came down here was, because you have to put the ashes in the ocean, how does it actually work if you burn, like bones don't burn, basically? What happens at the end? Do you have a skeleton that you've got to deal with? Apparently what happens is that the bones turn into a chalky substance. They're still intact, but they need to be broken up somehow. And there are guys with big sticks, so they tend to the fire, and they will ensure that the bones are broken down into small enough chunks that you can pack them into a box and take them to the ocean and dump them in the ocean, so that the soul can be released and go on to the next life. I thought that was very interesting, because I mean, some of the mechanics of this stuff is, like, even in the West, we don't even really get into the details of all of that stuff. The other thing I love about these Ngaben ceremonies is that the whole community comes out. It's a real community event, and it's so nice to see that people are being sent off by the whole community. The whole community comes out, say goodbye, help with the family, with the funeral for the family, and it's just a very nice community feel. You know, it's just really beautiful. You can sort of get a better appreciation of what's going on out here. So basically, each one of these has its own gas canister with a big sort of pole on the end of it, which is like a jet engine, which really just throws the flame in there, and then it's all supported by the banana trees. If you're a little bit squirmish and you don't like to see things that you normally don't see, it's probably best not to look too closely. Like, you do see the body in there in different stages of being burnt. For us Westerners, it's quite gruesome. For locals, it's pretty standard stuff, really. We sort of avoid death a lot, and we avoid talking about it, thinking about it, going into the details of it in the West, whereas in Bali it's just part of the process of moving from one life to the next, and I find that really intriguing as well. Doesn't mean it's not shocking for me as well, though. Like, it is pretty shocking to see some of the, to see a body in there being burnt. That's quite shocking to me. One of the other things I'm seeing happening here is that the guys that tend to the fire have these big metal rods, like a hook on the end of them. And as the body becomes more and more burnt, they will prod the body and bend it and scrape things off the body to get it to burn better. And maybe break up some of the bones a little bit if it's down to that level yet. I'm not sure, but I did hear that they may also crack open the skull at some point as part of the releasing the soul part of things, but I'm not sure if that's universal in Bali or just in some areas, which is what just goes to show that there are some things that happen here which, as visitors, we just really don't understand too much. At the moment, those guys have got big sticks out and they're in there trying to break the bones up a little bit because there's not much of a body left, but there is a bit of structure there. So they're in there with those big spikes and hooks, just sort of crushing it up a little bit as we get close to the end of the cremation of that first one. So I'm just like, I don't know, 20 metres from where the cremation is actually happening, and that behind me you can see people sunbathing, and life goes on as people cycle along the path and have a good time down here at the beach as well. There's a massive storm coming in. It looks like I heard a bit of thunder and saw a bit of lightning as well earlier. I don't know what happens if it gets rained out. I'm not sure what goes on there. Maybe the show goes on, maybe that fire's strong enough, I don't know. What will happen though is that after the body's, turned to ash and you've only got some bone fragments left, the family will let the ashes cool, of course, and then gather them up in a box of some sort and take them to the sea and conduct a ceremony as they tip the ashes into the ocean. And that's one of the main things about Balinese Hinduism, is that you always have to return the ashes to the ocean, and that can happen in the rivers as well. So if you're not near the ocean, they do it in the river, which then flows to the ocean. It's pretty interesting. Thanks for coming along with me today at this ngaben, this pretty big ngaben here in Sanur. You'll notice that at Pantai Karang, these things happen pretty regularly. People die all the time, all the time people die, and they've got to have cremations all the time. And they're happening pretty regularly down here. You'll see, if you come early in the morning, you'll see them set up those banana sarcophaguses early in the morning. If you see that, later in the day there's going to be a big ceremony or a big parade down the main road, and then the actual cremation happening later in the day. At the moment it's 12 o'clock. In my experience it's usually around that time, but it depends on the particular activities that are going on that day. And I have noticed that Saturdays seem to be a more popular day for these to happen, although today is not Saturday. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sanur and the rest of Indonesia. I'll catch you next time, and sampai jumpa.